I never thought I'd be sharing something this personal, but life has a way of throwing curveballs. My name is Ryan, and this is the story of how I caught my wife, Lily, cheating on me with the guy who works at the subway down the road, and how I got my revenge. It wasn't an easy journey, but it taught me a lot about love, trust, and self-respect. So, buckle up because this story is anything but ordinary. Before we dive in, let me ask, where are you all from? Drop it in the comments below. I love to know from where my audience watching me. Lily and I had been married for 7 years. When we first met, she was everything I ever wanted. Charming, funny, and full of life. She had this way of lighting up every room she walked into, and I felt lucky to have her by my side. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I truly believed we were solid. For most of our marriage, I worked as an IT consultant, spending long hours troubleshooting for clients. Lily, on the other hand, was a freelance graphic designer. Her schedule was more flexible, which I thought was great because it gave her time to do things she loved, like yoga and catching up with friends. Then there's the other guy, Mark. He works at the subway down the road, a place we frequented for quick dinners when life got hectic. At first glance, Mark seemed like a harmless, polite guy, but as I would later learn, appearances can be deceiving. Looking back, I realized there were signs I missed. Small things that didn't seem important at the time but would eventually unravel the life I thought we had. It started with subtle changes in Lily's behavior that I couldn't ignore. It started slowly, almost unnoticeably. Lily became more distant, spending a lot of time on her phone, always smiling at texts she wouldn't share. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "Just a friend from yoga," and brush it off like it was nothing. I wanted to trust her, so I let it go. Then came the late nights. As a graphic designer, Lily would sometimes have tight deadlines, so staying up late to work wasn't unusual. But it became frequent almost every night. She'd come home late, take a quick shower, and go straight to bed without a word. No cuddling, no conversation, just silence. It was like she was shutting me out of her life. One Saturday morning, I noticed she'd started dressing up more than usual. Full makeup and perfume, just to go to her yoga class. That didn't sit right with me. When I asked why, she said, "It's for me. I like feeling good." That's when the first seeds of doubt started to take root. My gut told me something was off, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. At the same time, the distance between us grew, and it was impossible to ignore. I decided I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. One evening, while Lily was in the shower, I gave in to the gnawing feeling in my gut and checked her phone. I'm not proud of it, but sometimes you have to trust your instincts. What I found shook me to my core. There were messages from a guy named Mark. Yes, Mark, the same guy who worked at the subway down the road. At first, I thought it was innocent until I read further. The messages weren't just casual, they were flirty and suggestive. One of them read, "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." Another said, "I love how you laugh at my silly jokes. You're incredible." My hands trembled as I scrolled through the thread. It wasn't just words. There were pictures too, selfies of them smiling, their heads too close for comfort. I felt like my heart had been ripped out. How could Lily do this to me? And with Mark, of all people, a guy who made sandwiches for a living. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. I needed proof because I wasn't going to confront her empty-handed. The worst part was realizing that the person I trusted most was living a double life. The next day, Lily told me she had to work late again. I kissed her goodbye as usual, but this time I followed her. She drove straight to Subway, and my suspicions were confirmed. I parked a few spots away and watched her go inside. My heart pounded as I saw her and Mark in the back, talking and laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. That was it. I knew I couldn't let this slide. I needed a plan, and I needed it fast. After catching Lily and Mark at the subway, my mind was racing. Anger, heartbreak, and humiliation churned inside me. But one thought rose above it all. I wasn't going to let them get away with this. If Lily could throw away everything we had for a guy like Mark, I would make sure she faced the consequences. I started planning. I knew Lily cared a lot about her image. She was always the one organizing events, putting on a perfect front for friends and family. That's where I decided to hit her, right where it hurt the most. We had a small gathering planned for the weekend with some close friends and family, and I knew it was the perfect stage to expose her betrayal. Over the next few days, I kept up appearances, acting as if nothing was wrong. I wanted her to think I was clueless, that she was still in control. Meanwhile, I prepared everything. I compiled all the screenshots of her messages with Mark into a neat little folder. I made sure the evidence was undeniable: messages, photos, dates, times. There was no room for excuses or denial. Saturday arrived, and Lily was in her usual hostess mode, laughing and chatting as she prepared snacks and drinks for our guests. I played along, smiling and engaging with everyone as if it were just another gathering. But inside, I was counting down the minutes until the perfect moment. As everyone settled into the living room, I stood up, my heart pounding but my resolve steady. "Hey, everyone," I said, clearing my throat. "I need to share something." Lily looked at me, confused but curious. She had no idea what was coming. The room quieted as I stood there, holding my phone in my hand. My heart was racing, but I kept my composure. I glanced at Lily, who looked puzzled but still unsuspecting. "Lily," I began, my voice calm but firm, "I've always trusted you. I thought we had a strong marriage. But it seems I was wrong." Lily's face shifted from confusion to concern as I connected my phone to the TV. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. I ignored her question and continued, "I want everyone here to see what's been going on behind my back." With that, I pulled up the folder containing the screenshots of her messages with Mark and displayed them on the screen. The room fell silent. Every pair of eyes was glued to the TV as the messages scrolled across the screen. Flirty texts, plans to meet, even photos of the two of them together, it was all there. Lily's face turned pale, her cheerful hostess facade crumbling in an instant. She tried to stammer out an explanation, but no words came. "I loved you," I said, turning to her, my voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside me. "I thought we had something real, but you threw it all away for a guy who makes sandwiches." The weight of my words hung in the air as everyone stared in disbelief. I grabbed my pre-packed bag and headed for the door. As I reached for the handle, I heard Lily start to cry, pleading, "Ryan, please, let's talk about this." But I didn't look back. I was done. It was time to take care of myself. Walking out of that house felt like stepping into a new chapter, one I never thought I'd face but knew I needed. I moved in with my brother for a while, leaning on him and my close friends for support. It wasn't easy. The nights were the hardest, filled with thoughts of what went wrong and how I could have missed the signs. Lily tried to reach out. She sent long messages and left voicemails, crying and begging for another chance. "It was a mistake," she said over and over. But trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, and I knew there was no going back. As for Mark, word of the affair got out. A few friends told me he quit his job at Subway not long after. I guess the humiliation was too much for him. Lily, from what I heard, tried to patch things up with him, but it didn't last. Reality hit her hard when the life she thought she could build on lies crumbled. Meanwhile, I started focusing on myself. I picked up old hobbies I had forgotten, hit the gym regularly, and slowly, piece by piece, began rebuilding my confidence in my life. It's been a few months since that unforgettable day, and I can honestly say I'm in a better place now. The journey hasn't been easy, but I've learned so much about myself and what I deserve in life. Cutting out the toxicity of betrayal opened the door to a life filled with clarity and self-respect. I've been focusing on things that make me happy, hitting the gym, exploring new hobbies, and reconnecting with old friends. The support from my loved ones has been incredible, and it reminded me that I'm not alone in this. I even started dating again, taking things slow, but it feels good to be around people who value honesty and respect. As for Lily, I heard through mutual friends that she moved back to her parents' place, trying to find herself. I don't hold on to anger anymore, but I've closed that chapter for good. What's done is done. If this story taught me anything, it's that life moves on. Betrayal may knock you down, but it doesn't have to keep you there. And for anyone out there going through something similar, stay strong. You're worth so much more than lies and broken trust.